Kempire is brought to you by. We are so excited to announce that the Kempire After Dark, a live tour, is coming back. We are first returning to Los Angeles on November 20th at the Bourbon Room. And then we will be in London. Yes, the first international date of the Kempire After Dark live experience is coming to London, of course, because this is where it all began at our first meet and greet. On December 8th, we will be at Neon 194. This live show is presented by our friends over at AEG. So if you haven't gotten your tickets already, what are you waiting for? December is right around the corner. Every Kempire After Dark live experience is so different than the other. So make a trip, or if you live in London, come to the Kempire After Dark live experience. And just announce, Washington, D.C., we're coming back. We're coming back. Yes, we're coming back to Union Stage, Washington, D.C. Come out. Get your tickets are now available. Let's sell out all three shows for 2024 and the early part of 2025. We'll be in D.C. on January 24th. More information on all tour dates will be available in the description. I'll see you guys soon. You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Orange County. I'm sure you probably thought that I forgot. I didn't. It just has been a busy week between Diddy stories, other hot topics, and other business to take care of. But I didn't forget, and I did watch. And if you follow me on other platforms, you saw I did talk about this a little bit on Twitter earlier today. But of course, finally, we get to talk about the Real Housewives of Orange County, their season 18 finale. And I have to say, this is probably one of their best seasons. Look, this is not one of the cities that I've watched chapter and verse, and I'm not saying it's their best overall, but it's definitely their best since the pandemic. A lot of people have said that Orange County had been going down the hill since then, and a lot of people have their suggestions on what could make the show better. However, I feel like they have found maybe the right cast. Maybe. I have some questions. We have to talk about Katie. We have to talk about Jen. We have to talk about Ryan's legal trouble. And we have to talk about John Jansen showing up for a hot second to have a moment, which I think was really planned, not by production, more so by Alexis Bellino. Because production, if they really wanted to have John Jansen there and be a part and hear more from him, we probably would have gotten him coming into the party. However, we also know that Shannon Bedore was not going to have that happen. She did seem like she was a little shook, though. Didn't she? All right, we're going to break all of that down. But first, be sure to let me know how you would rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County from 1 to 10. Be sure to let me know where you're watching from and anything else that you want to share. Happy Saturday. Let's get into this Real Housewives of Orange County recap. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So I did not expect to hear my voice again on the Real Housewives of Orange County. Some of you probably didn't even realize it was my voice, along with Zach Peter as well. Yes, you remember in the season premiere, they featured us talking about Shannon Bedore's DUI. Well, they featured it again. Shout out to Evolution and shout out to Bravo because they have enough respect to actually reach out and get permission before doing so. And I only say that because Megan Thee Stallion, I haven't listened to it yet. Again, it could be 5 seconds, but even with Bravo, it's 5 seconds and they reach out and they say, you know, we want to have your permission in order to use your voice on the show or if it's a video. I haven't seen it, but what I also know is that they have never reached out. That being said, TMZ also never reached out for my 5 seconds where they actually used my TikTok video. Look, these things happen in the business, but I just find it so interesting when I see a show like Real Housewives of Orange County feature my voice. And look, at this particular point, I've been featured on multiple Real Housewives shows. So there is a little bit of a relationship. So they do reach out, but they've been reaching out. They've never used my content, my voice, my likeness without my permission. So, you know, when Bravo is wrong or one of these production companies are wrong, I will tell you. However, at least with this, they've always reached out. They've always reached out, even before I was featured on anything else. Okay. So I say all that to say thank you to all of you that let me know, because I didn't even watch the documentary. Thank you for letting me, the fact that you guys even recognize my voice. I love that. I love that. No, they did not get my permission to do so. It's fine. Legally, they can do stuff like that. I think we're looking into it. But They can, because TMZ did the same thing. I just find it so interesting. All it takes is reaching out and confirming, can we use your information? And it's not like TMZ doesn't have my information. We've worked with them before. Just saying. Anyways, I'm not here to complain. I just want to let you guys know, if you didn't see Megan Thee Stallion's documentary, apparently you can hear my voice probably for 5 seconds. I don't know. Who knows? It could be an entire video. I don't know. You guys told me that I was in it. And then a few people hit me up on Twitter that telling me, I didn't know you were in it. It's like, I didn't know either. I didn't know either. Okay. Anyways, today's live recap is sponsored by our friends over at Uncommon Goods. You know I love me a good gift. The holidays have officially started. I know some of you are like, no, Thanksgiving's first. No. Okay. Capitalism. No, I'm playing. No, but really. Holidays have begun, but we've partnered with a great brand that celebrates independent small businesses. And if you're looking for a unique gift idea, this might be the place for you. Okay? So spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful. There we go. With incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list. All in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and that it's exactly what I wanted feeling. Okay? They scour the globe for original, handmade, absolutely remarkable things. Somehow they know exactly the perfect gift for every single person you know. Here's a few of my favorites. Let me show you, because there was so many things on their website that I could have gotten, but I said, you know what? I have my new office space. Oh wait, is my battery dead on this thing? I think so. Oh, I left it on last night. I forgot. Well, this is a globe and it lights up. Look, you can't see. There you go. It's a globe and it lights up. And I forgot I left it on, but it charges with the USB-C port. Okay. So very easy, very cutesy, and wasn't expensive. This was like, I don't even remember. I think it was like less than $50. So not bad at all. More information on Uncommon Goods will be available in the description, but I know you want a discount. So to get 50% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/Kempire. That's uncommongoods.com/Kempire for 15% off. Don't miss out on a limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. More information, again, will be available in the description, along with everything else, including our Los Angeles date. We're coming to Los Angeles November 20th, less than 3 weeks. Have you gotten your tickets yet? Then we will be coming to London. We're going to London on December 8th for the Kempire After Dark live experience, hopefully working on some other special surprises as well. So get your tickets today. And then we're returning to Washington, D.C. to Union Stage January 24th, Friday, January 24th. So it's a perfect date night. Make sure you get your tickets for that as well. Let's sell out another show in DC. Let's sell out all the shows, okay? All of you want me to come to your city. Well, if I am coming to your city, let's sell out so we can come back to your city like we're doing in DC. More information on all the Kempire After Dark dates that have been announced will be available in the description. Let's get into our Real Housewives of Orange County recap. Look, for those that get tired of us, talking in the beginning or a countdown, that is because a couple of reasons. It gives me, as a content creator, time to get all the tech stuff together and all the note stuff together. But it also gives the algorithm an opportunity to let people know Kempire is live, and then it starts working. Because a lot of people either don't get the notification or they get the notification after I've been live for like 15 minutes. So that's part of why people do that. And if you're part of the replay crew, then you could fast forward. So it's usually the replay crew that complains. The people that are here live, they don't care. They're like, yeah, it's come on. It gives me time to settle in, get a snack, and do all that stuff. So calm down. It's not a lot of people. It really is like 1%. But, I just have to remind people, for people that don't understand why people do countdowns, why people vamp at the beginning of a live stream. Also, it helps us as content creators to get into a mode, to get comfortable and not just be like, okay, I got to talk about this, got to talk about that. It allows us to ease into the topic, okay? But mostly it's for the algorithm to let you guys know that we're live, because a lot of you tell me and complain the notification didn't tell me you were live. So we try to stay on as long as possible. So let's get into this recap. So as you know, we were in London. We will be in London, but Real Housewives of Orange County ladies were in London. Shannon left London on a separate flight. So when she left that party, she really left. Shannon, Look, I'm going to be you. If you're new here, I don't take the popular opinion. Sometimes I do. I fall into the popular opinion, but I also twerk on a fence. So there are moments where I'm like, I love me some Shannon Bedore. And there are moments I'm like, Shannon is just running away from the truth. And I see what she's doing here. Like, we could not like Tamara and what Tamara does and says. However, we could also realize that we could see what Shannon's doing. Shannon is not innocent. Okay? Okay. So she took a separate flight. Jen got engaged while she was in the Bahamas with her now fiance, Ryan. Tamra says that she wants to meet up with Jen so she can share the full text exchange with Shannon, because Tamra says, well, Shannon was the one who wanted me to look into this stuff. Tamra says that she's never done a background check on anyone. I find that hard to believe, especially as a housewife. I find that very hard to believe. So she says she's never done a background check on anyone. And in this meeting that Jen has with Shannon, who else was there? Oh, Emily. I think Gina too, right? In that conversation, you could tell that Shannon was just like, yeah, don't meet up with Tamra, because she doesn't want Tamra to show the full text. And that was part of the reason why Shannon got up from the table. Look, two things can be true. Tamra can be a terrible human being, but Shannon could also be manipulative, okay, and a sniper from the side. So you could tell, pay attention to Shannon's body language. You know, we're body language experts. We're being facetious. Pay attention to her body language and what she says during that conversation with Jen. But I agree with Jen when Jen says later, look, Shannon can apologize and I feel like we can move forward. The difference with Tamra apologizes and we can't move forward. It's Tamra, again, doing something just to avoid talking about her real life storyline. We went through an entire season. What was Tamra's storyline? I'll wait. What was Tamra's storyline? No, huh? Oh, her daughter, which was sweet, but that was not much of a storyline. If anything, that connected all the ladies. But some might say, what was Heather Dubrow's storyline? I'll wait. What was Emily's storyline? I'll wait. I mean, even Gina had a storyline this season. They didn't talk a lot about it, but I'll wait. But for a show that didn't have a lot of housewives with their own personal stories, it still was entertaining. And this just goes back to what I've always said, is that you don't necessarily have to have a storyline to be an interesting reality TV star. I've always said that. Because everyone's like, oh, she doesn't have a storyline, she's boring. Yeah, no, what you're really saying is that she is boring. Because even if she had a storyline, you would not be entertained. So just keep that in mind. So Shannon agrees with Jen that, yeah, you probably shouldn't meet up with Tamra before your engagement party. Yeah, that's not a good idea. And then Jen was just like, but what was it, Emily, who said, well, do you think that she might corner you at your engagement party? She's going to corner. Look, I will say this. We did find out at the end, at the engagement party, that Tamra wasn't drinking. Notice how you really didn't hear, or Tamra didn't stand out in that moment, which is sad that you have to drink in order to stand out. Just saying. All right. Speaking of Tamra and Alexis meet up to discuss Alexis going ring shopping. At this particular point, she's not engaged. We know she now has since become engaged. She says that they play where John Jansen says, he's very confident about his relationship with Alexis. So these shady producers, shout out to Evolution, shady producers add the clip. But I appreciate it because he said something very similar when talking about Shannon. I think that was just last season, if I'm correct. Okay. So they play that to show the hypocrisy. You could tell that they don't have any. Of course, Shannon is their prize star, so they're going to support her. Alexis is a friend of. They're not going to support her. So they're going to lean into supporting Shannon with the receipts. Like he said this before. Also pay attention to his body language, John Jansen, in the confessional when he was talking about Shannon, I think towards the end of the episode, and how he looks down. I'm just like, pay attention to the body language. You don't have to be a body language expert to notice the interesting human behavior when they're not telling the truth, or when they're nervous, or when they have anxiety. Pay attention to the body language. All right. So Tamra denies ever doing a background check on anyone. She says that she has the text messages and Shannon asked Tamara to do the background check. But we have to remember the timeline of the situation. Shannon was more interested because she says one of her family members could be connected to what's going on with Ryan. So she asked Tamara to ask her friend to look into something. We have to remember Shannon and Jen weren't close at that particular point. So it wouldn't shock me her asking that. But I do see Shannon probably apologizing to Jen and they could actually have a fruitful friendship. I mean, they were close. I don't want to take it back, but they were getting to know each other. It was their first season together. They weren't friends like Tamara and Jen were. But they were building a little bit of a friendship. They're probably a lot closer now while Jen is still on the show because we know how Shannon does. For those that know, no. Okay? Anyways, so that was a non-scene. So that was just basically Tamara giving Alexis a scene, okay? Jen has a combo with her son. We see multiple combos. Heather has a combo with her son who had a big real estate thing. I think we talked about her son. He decided that he wasn't going to go to college. He showed appreciation to his mom for allowing him to have the life that he has. And I also think, and I'm not against this, but maybe, I don't remember. I think we talked about this when he landed that big sale. And I think I alluded that maybe his mom helped him get that sale. And look, maybe not. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yes, he might be a Nepo baby, but all these people do it and get away with it. All of this generations of money is passed down and down and down. That's why when black kids do it, I'm like, y'all don't say nothing when the other kids are doing it. Let these black kids get a little Nepo baby in. Just saying. So I was like, okay, that was what, ding, 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 because it's been a long season. I can't remember everything that we talked about. So he had a big sale. He's going to continue. He's about to go abroad. Jen has a combo with her son. You remember her son was like, I need to live with dad in his 1-bedroom apartment. Since then, we saw that the father in court documents has shared text messages about Jen and saying that she's slamming him on the show. She really hasn't slammed him on the show until this particular episode. And honestly, that was her truth in regards to their relationship. But even when they showed the text messages, Jen is who Jen is in real life. Because that's what the text messages said to me. There was nothing shocking in those text messages of Jen and her having a conversation with her ex-husband. I was like, Jen is who she is. And that's why people gravitate towards her and why people like her. Does she have the best taste in men? I don't think so. But she makes him definitely a little bit more bearable. Okay. All right. So we see those two separate scenes. So Jen has a conversation with her son. And look, even her conversation with her son, who's saying he doesn't want to go to finish high school, wants to do his GED and to go into the Marines. She's still trying to be supportive and she's still pouring into him. Again, Jen, lovely person. Tamara talks to her own daughter and talks about her own dreams of pursuing cosmetology, and she wasn't able to do that. And so she tells her daughter, if you want to do music, you should still do a little bit of music while going to school. And we also get to hear a little bit of her music. What I love is because there aren't a lot of female producers. So she says that, she produced the track and everything like that. And I was like, well, you know what? Yes, go to school, but continue to do your music. I agree with Tamara in that regard. And I like this little scene where we're seeing all of the women be mothers. Speaking of being mothers, Kylie, I think that's how you pronounce her name, Katie's daughter, comes in and tells Matt, my name change came in the mail. Okay. And then, of course, this is Katie's way of taking a slam. Well, no, Kylie took the slam. She's like, well, he has a new daughter, her biological father. He has a new daughter now. What in the Brian McKnight is going on? I was like, what? Look, we don't know anything about Katie's ex-husband based on what we've heard from Katie. Again, not a reliable source. And I get it why people are so like Team Katie when it comes to the Heather stuff, because I don't think some people have really delved into accusations. And specifically, we did a separate video and we talked about this during one of our recaps, Katie's road rage drama, which ended up her getting a judgment against her over $100,000, which if you saw the reunion trailer, Heather slyly brought that up. And I'm glad that she did because it's important. It's an important detail. It's an important part of, is Katie a credible source? So when I look at everything that's playing out between her and Heather, and look, I'm not a Heather stan. However, I'm not a Katie stan either. Because based on what I'm seeing Katie has done off the show, it's hard to not think about those things when we think about what Katie's doing on the show. We will get back to that. So we see that scene with Kylie, her daughter, and I thought that was interesting. Kylie's another one. Kylie's another slick one. I think she will do whatever her mother wants her to do. So we'll get back to that. Gina and Travis's scene. Look, I feel for Travis, and I said this to you guys before. Another particular part where context is so important. If you read the settlement that Travis recently had with his ex, I don't think they're divorced. At least at the time of the finale, he wasn't divorced yet. I thought he was divorced. So that situation is complex. And I get why. I think at the top of the season, they didn't really give us enough context. Why are you separating your life from Travis? And then they started throughout the season allude to, well, it has something to do with his ex. Well, if you look at what the settlement agreement was with his ex after this whole legal situation, you have a better understanding why Gina's just like, I think it's probably better that we separate our lives because he still has to co-parent with this woman. Can they do this forever? Clearly. And I get why Travis is not happy about it. Travis seems like a lovely human being, and they seem to have a very lovely relationship. But I get why Gina's just like, I need space. Like, this woman is saying and doing things and talking to the blogs and allegedly might have some substance abuse issues, because in that settlement, they talk about drug testing and things like that as well. So I was just like, oh, so it's pretty dark and it involves young children. So I don't blame Gina trying to protect not just herself, but remember, she has young children. And she's on a reality show. So whatever happens in their relationship or with his ex becomes bigger. It's not just the drama that you have in your own personal life. It becomes 10 times bigger because now she's talking to blogs and et cetera, et cetera. So I kind of now understand, even back then, because I told you I read the story. So that's when I was like, oh, so this is why Gina's separating her life. Again, a reminder, this is why I always tell you guys, you are watching an edited show. So there's a lot of context. Once you find out the context, that's why they've started doing these after shows. When you get some of the context, you're like, oh, well, that makes sense now. That makes complete sense. So when you read a little bit more about Travis's ex and what they recently came to agreement on, and I'm sure they'll probably talk about that during the reunion, then you're probably like, oh, I get why Gina was like, I don't want any parts of this. We need to separate our lives. I need to protect my children. The children's father probably are like, what is going on here? This is not good. So, and she's really developed a good working relationship with her ex-husband and his new fiance. I'm not sure if they got married yet. So I honestly don't blame her. So she talks a little bit about that in that scene. Then we move on to Jen's tacky engagement party that's being thrown by Alexis Bellino, who no one seemed to understand the assignment. Honestly, the fact that they called it a tacky engagement party, I was like, well, perfect, because Emily decided to wear her wedding dress. If you walked into that party, you would have thought that was Emily's engagement party. She looked more like a bride than the actual bride. If Jen didn't wear her veil, then I probably would have thought, is this Emily's tacky engagement party? Did Emily get engaged? And the way that Emily was acting, and look, I love a fun time girl like Emily. I like Emily on the show. But I feel like she was drinking a lot, doing a lot. You would have thought this was her engagement, taking all of the attention during this engagement party. It was uncomfortable to watch at certain points. It's like, this is not your engagement party. Jen has her parents here. I get it. You're turning up for the show, and they probably love you turning up for the show. But I felt like this was uncomfortable. Look, I felt like this was uncomfortable. All right. Moving on from there, where else did I want to go in this engagement party? I want to make sure I sort of stay in the order that I want to stay in. So Emily and Heather seem to be the only ones to understand the assignment with the tacky dresses. Then Katie made a comment. And again, maybe because I know a lot more about Katie's offline behavior based off the articles and things like that in court documents. she makes a comment about like, these women have these tacky, dresses from, back in the day in their closets. I was a kid. And I know some people are like, well, Kempire, that's a fact. Yeah, but when it comes from Katie, it feels like, are you age shaming these people? It felt weird. And sometimes you guys will be like, no, I think you're reading too much into it. But sometimes you're like, no, I kind of felt icky about that comment too. I was just like, especially because of what she's been saying and doing. Okay. So I was just sort of like, oh, okay, Katie. Karen. Anyways, so what else happened in this situation? Oh, speaking of Katie, so Heather makes a comment on how Katie didn't speak to her when they came into the party or when they walked by each other. And she says Katie and her husband sort of snubbed them, only for Katie and the husband, Matt, to be like, yeah, I feel like Heather snubbed us again. Again, this is how miscommunication breaks down. I think there's a lot of context, a lot of what happened between Katie and Heather that they may have cut out. So it's sort of like, how did we get here? Why wouldn't we speak to each other? We understand as the audience now, based on what we saw happen in London, why Heather might not say hello. But it doesn't take a lot to be like, hey, on both ends. But I can get why Heather might not say hello. If you're telling your kids I'm mean, and then you're trying to spread that to other people on the cast. And this is the second time you've been trying to spread information about me to the cast to make me look sideways. Just saying. And we all said Katie coming in with this whole paparazzi gate information felt desperate, felt like wrong road. This is not the road that you should be taking, Katie. But fine, that's the road she decided to take. Guys, if you're just joining us, don't forget to like the video. It's easy and free. And don't forget, you can hear an audio version of our live recaps and special episodes and sometimes special additional thoughts on episodes like this on the Kempire podcast. While you're there, don't forget to give us a 5-star review. We're trying to get to 1,000 reviews on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. So if you haven't given us a 5-star review yet, be sure to head on over there today and give us that. Thank you in advance. All right. So Emily decides to confront Katie about what apparently Heather's kids may have said when Kylie was babysitting them. So here's the thing that I found to be interesting. And shout out to the producers for adding the receipts, because Katie had an answer for everything. She was like, Kylie is the one who brought this up. I didn't bring this up to Tamra. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Emily says that her boys don't even know who Heather is. Do you guys believe that? I mean, part of me does, because I know some people think that these women are really friends and hanging out. No, her boys probably know who Gina is, but I can see them not really knowing who Heather is. I could see Kylie prompting the boys to say something. You know what I mean? So I could definitely see that. And Kylie in her confession says, why would I make that up? Because your mom doesn't like Heather. And literally they show the receipts of her son, Katie's son, who's about those boys, the twins' age, calling Heather a jerk. First of all, who talks like that in to their mother? But I guess that's what, new parenting is doing. Gentle parenting is about. And instead of correcting him, she's just like, in the scene. And I love how she talks in her confession, like, well, Kylie is of a particular age, so we're able to have these conversations, so she's able to speak her mind and blah, blah, blah. And then Evolution Production adds in, well, is that really 100% true? Because your own son, during dinner, when it was being filmed, said and called Heather a jerk. Was she being a jerk again today, Mom? The receipts were receding. So I find it interesting. And that's the thing. A lot of people want to believe what they want to believe about Katie, or because they just don't like Heather. And this is why I say, when you're team no one, you can call Heather out when Heather is wrong, which we've done this season. And you can also see when Katie's wrong. We can love Katie as a newbie. However, we can also say, Katie, you're caught in a lie. You literally talk about Heather to your older daughter, but you also apparently talk about Heather to your young son, who doesn't and hasn't met Heather. Was she being a jerk today? Where did he get that language from? I'm just saying, I'm asking a question because this is what we see on the show. So I found it interesting that, like, oh, Heather's being mean to Katie. She wants everyone to bow down to her. That can be true. But also, I don't think that Katie is completely 100% innocent either. especially when the receipts were receding. But then Katie and Heather get into it during this conversation, and Heather calls Katie boring and a liar. I don't know if Katie's boring, but she's definitely a liar. She's definitely
lies. The lie.
Yeah, she's definitely a liar. I don't know if she's boring. I mean, based off the season, I guess people might say she's a little boring because, like, what has really been? I mean, I like her. I like her friendship with Jen. I think she's a good addition. But yeah, like personal story. Yes, we did get the personal story from her. I'm not going to deny that because we did talk about personal story. They did talk about at the end that Katie was supposed to, remember she kept on saying she's going to see her mother in Korea, like her biological mother. And apparently it hasn't happened yet at the time of filming. But she still plans to do it. And I was like, was that just a storyline? Like, that's the thing with Katie. I have trust issues because I've seen a few moments offline in her real life where she has credibility issues. So some of it, I'm like, is she being slick here? Who knows? Who knows? Now I want to talk to the husband, the original husband, and what went down in that relationship. Because remember, when we talked about that story with Katie and the road rage situation, her children were in the back of the car at the time. And she's following this man to his home. And then when the cops arrive, try to switch around and make it seem like he was being aggressive towards her. And then the police had this man shook and he sued the police and he sued Katie. And he got a judgment. And it was discovered that she lied. I just gave you a quick synopsis. Mods, if we can post in the live chat my original video where I talk about Katie being a Karen. Because some of y'all may have missed that. Look, some of y'all may have missed it. So moving on from that conversation because I'm bored, Tamara and Jen have their own conversation about the issues that they've had. And Tamara says, I wish we could have met up. I wanted to share with you all of the texts and Shannon's involvement. And Jen says that she believes that, yes, Shannon could have been involved. But the difference between Shannon and Tamara is that she can make up with Shannon and they could move forward and actually build a better friendship. She feels, and she's scared every time she moves on with Tamara, something else comes up and Tamara turns on her. I agree with her. We have literally said that and seen that from Tamara, not just with Jen, but with other people that she's known a long time, i.e. Shannon. So the conversation gets weird because and look, again, we're watching an edited show. At some point, did Jen get loud? Could have. But in what we saw, I didn't see Jen get loud. Jen doesn't have a loud voice. We've heard screaming from Tamara before. So she's like, if you're going to get loud, this is Tamara, if you're going to get loud, who's getting loud? At what point did Jen get loud? I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see that. So she's like, if you can't handle this conversation, you can leave. So Tamara does end up leaving early. Mind you, her and Eddie were there. She wasn't drinking, so she really didn't stand out. This is why people say that she drinks. She doesn't normally drink in her real life, but she drinks when she's filming the show. Okay. Look, okay. Is that encouraged? Anyways. Shannon. So everybody wants Shannon to come in a group photo. Everybody wants Shannon and Tamara to have a conversation. And Shannon refuses because Shannon knows that Tamara is probably going to pull out all of what she knows in regards to the Jen situation or anything else. So she doesn't trust having any sort of conversation with Tamara. So everyone's just like, oh, I'll have a conversation. Because everybody's being a self-producer. That's the thing about Housewives at this particular point. Everybody's being a self-producer. So Shannon's just like, I've evolved. I'm in a healthy space. I want healthy boundaries. So she feels like walking away is her healthy boundary. So she walks away. Okay, she walks away again. But then she walks away, and look, again, we're watching an edited show. Could things have been left out? This conversation between her and Katie's husband, Matt, I was like, what is going on here? But this is what I tell you. I think you're getting a glimpse as to who Shannon is behind the scenes and what people have accused her of. I know a lot of people didn't love Joel Kim Booster and what he said on social media about Shannon, but two things can be true. He could have jumped the unprofessional line, and Shannon could still be a nightmare behind the scenes because multiple people that have reported on this, including myself, have said, I've heard that Shannon is a nightmare behind the scenes, allegedly. So I feel like in this particular moment, Matt's saying you should just walk away. And I'm thinking she's taking that as you telling me I should leave this show. That's how I'm taking it. But he's talking in like real life ways. Like if a situation's not healthy for you, you should walk away. And then she gets upset when she's like, I don't like the fact that you're saying that to me. And he's just like, well, you came over to me. I was just standing here. You came over to me. And then she's just like, ah. Like a real Karen behavior. Like I know people love Shannon, and I like Shannon too. However, you got to be able to call people out when people are wrong. Again, we're watching an edited show. Was there context left out? I don't think so. Based on what we saw, Matt was just standing there. She started complaining to him, and he gave her his honest opinion. He's like, maybe you should walk away. And she's like, I don't like the fact that you're saying that to me, and then acting like a real like, I'm sure they probably got over it, but maybe they'll talk about this during the reunion. We shall see. John Jansen arrives. Everyone starts reacting. We see Emily and Gina trying to climb a wall to see, drunk, falling over on herself, Emily. Funny, because a lot of the Bravo universe finds this behavior from these women to be hilarious. I just feel like at this particular point, Emily has been just obnoxious, like one of those obnoxious drunks that are not obnoxious and taking attention away from who the attention should be on, and that is Jen, and you're making this all about you. So they're peeking over the fence, the wall, to see John Jansen arrive. John Jansen arrives. It wasn't anything. He didn't engage. He engaged more in his confessional and sharing his thoughts on what he thinks that Shannon does behind the scenes. Look, I think what John Jansen says is true about Shannon, but I also still think that John Jansen is trash and that he's not a great person either. So ungreat people, I don't know if that's a word, ungreat people found each other. Fine. All right. What else happened in the scene? That's about it. All right. So the Jen's party, fine. Wonderful. Great way to end. I do love, shout out to production. You guys have been really creative. Shout out to you guys. The confessionals, because I was watching it. I was looking at the confessionals in this last episode, and they've been great overall. But I was just looking on my television. I was like, these confessionals are well lit, high quality. Like money is being spent over there for Real Housewives of Orange County. From their reunion set looks great from last season and even this season's reunion set. You guys are spending the money over there. I like it. Okay. All right. I say all that to say, then the group starts reacting to the news that Ryan and his legal trouble. Oh, what I wanted to say before that, when they were at the party, they usually do, the final updates on everyone. They did it like Instagram posts. And I was like, oh, that's cute. That's so different. I love the fact that they're trying to be different and they're not doing what all the other cities are doing. It was sort of like little Instagram updates on everyone and what everyone is going through. I don't remember every single one, but I will say this. Emily and Shane, we get an update on Shane's health. Apparently everything came back normal. Why did I find that hard to believe? Based off the symptoms that she said that he had, I was like, look, hopefully that is true. Take care of yourself, Shane. Travis and Gina are still living apart. Fine. Heather, what was Heather's update? I don't remember. Do you even care? No. What was Katie's update? We found out that she's still in visit her mother in North Korea or South Korea. So nothing. For those that want to know where you can get my hat, houseofkempire.com, just saying, and along with all the other merch. More information on everything Kempire will be available in the description. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. Liking the video is easy, it's free, and it supports not just my channel, but other content creators as well. As you know, we are still celebrating over 500,000 subscribers here on the channel. I think we're at 503,000 at this particular point. Shout out to our new channel subscribers. Be sure to let us know if you are a new subscriber or if you've been following us a long time. Let us know when you first started following us, how many subscribers did we have then, if you even remember. Some of you do, and I love it. I'm like, oh my God, that means you've been here a long time. Some of you have been here since the very, very beginning. Very, very beginning. All right. Ryan's legal trouble. So there have been rumors that Ryan and his friends Ryan may have been involved in getting $16 million that he doesn't know where it came from. And there were allegations that Ryan laundered money for one of his friends. His friend who's pled guilty is now facing over a decade in federal prison. And this man, Matthew, was also at Jen's party. And at one particular point, Ryan laughs and jokes about money laundering. Well, word on the street, and based off the update that we get, Ryan basically was never charged. Word on the street, Ryan cooperated and has full immunity. So I don't know if Ryan threw people under the bus, or I don't know the logistics of what happened. Sidebar, Ryan and his suit. Ryan got that suit from Amazon, fine, but he then said he had it tailored. Who is your tailor? Because that suit still looked sloppy and not well hemmed. But even when he does get it, because he loves to take stuff to the tailor, his tailor is not the greatest because it's like too tight. But this just looked sloppy. I was like, what is going on? I understand you got it from Amazon, but you also said that you got it tailored. Fine. Anyway, so when we think the season is over, the Ryan legal trouble stuff breaks into the headlines. Jen is upset because now she has to address this with the group. The group reacts. Tamra, Heather, I think Emily all had a lunch where Tamra decided to wear an FBI hat. See, this is why Jen doesn't want to make up with you. Because you would do, even if they had made up and they were in a good place, I 100% believe that Tamra would still wear that FBI hat trying to be funny when Jen is dealing with this situation. So Jen meets up with Katie and Gina puts it out there. She's like, I'm worried for you. Like, you should be concerned about you and your children. And I feel like you're in too deep with this guy. And Jen opens up and she's like, you know what? I used to be married to a man that I couldn't even have a conversation with. Now this is like my best friend that I'm with. I don't know. I mean, at this particular point, when this is being filmed, we don't know the outcome of the legal situation. The producers tell us at the end that he has full use immunity. So he's fine. He's not going to jail. I don't know if we ever got to the bottom of where that $16 million came from, but he's not going to jail. His friend that was at this party is going to jail. So is he a little grimy? Is he a little sneaky like Louis from Real Housewives of New Jersey, Teresa's Louis? It gives that. And I think because we all like Jen and we want Jen to be okay, we're all a little concerned. But they're still together. They're engaged. They're planning to get married next year. I'm happy for her. I wish her the best. He definitely seems like he's in love with her. I'm concerned. I'm still concerned. What was your reaction, guys, to the Real Housewives of Orange County Season 18 reunion trailer? The trailer was giving. The trailer looks really good. Speaking of Jen's situation, we see Emily still is harping on Jen. She's like, I'm so tired of you and your Tammy Wynette stand by your man rants. She's going to stand by her man because her man has, first of all, he's not going to jail. He's been loyal to her. We haven't had solid proof that he's done anything to her. And you've given hater this entire season to anyone, Emily. Everything you're hating on everyone, specifically Jen at the top of the season. And then you went to her party. Now it makes even more sense. Like, you just continue to make everything about you and hating and triggered by Jen. So you go to her engagement party and try to make everything about you, and you wear your wedding dress. Now that I think about it, I'm like, something's wrong with you, Emily. And I like Emily, but I'm sort of like, you wore your wedding dress. I know it was a tacky bridesmaid situation, but you wore your wedding dress looking like the bride at this party, trying to make her moment about you. And now you still are triggered by her at this reunion. And I love the fact that Heather says to Katie and pulls out, says, you have a credibility issue. She doesn't say that. That's not the word she uses, but basically brings up Katie's past on the show. And then Katie gets emotional. Okay, Katie. I want to hear Katie's side. I'm going to keep an open mind, but I want to hear what Katie has to say about her road rage situation and default judgment. I'm surprised they didn't use my video for that one. They didn't, because they would have reached out and then I wouldn't have said anything. Shh. Unless they used it and they didn't tell me. Doubt it. But maybe next season they will, because we're talking about it. Who knows? Shout out to Evolution, because I'm going to shout it out to them, because at least out of principle, they reached out. They didn't have to, because you could see Tubi didn't reach out. Megan Thee Stallion people didn't reach out. They don't necessarily have to, but off of GP, they did. So shout out to Evolution. They got my respect on that. And, Truly Original, because they also, in the past, have used my content and have reached out as well. And Netflix. Shout out to all of y'all. Look, shout out to all of y'all. Anyways, I say all that to say, what a season. Come on. Wait. What a season. What a season. Fantastic. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's easy and it's free. How would you rate the season of The Real Housewives of Orange County? I don't say this lightly. The season was a 10. The season was a 10. And honestly, I'm going to give the season finale a 10 as well. I thought this was a superb season. And the fact that there wasn't a lot of personal story from every housewife, which we've seen on like Miami, which has been giving, and they're currently filming right now. For those that I always find it interesting when people don't know. I thought you guys are Bravo fans, but some of you wait on me to mention it. Real Housewives of Miami is currently filming. We probably won't see that until spring, summer of next year, which is perfect because we're in Miami. Who else is filming? No one else is filming right now. That's only one that's filming. And did you hear? Bye, Dubai. Oh, you didn't hear that from me. If you follow me on Twitter, then some of you caught my shade. Some of you caught my shade. That's the word on the street. Don't look for that. If you don't hold your breath for that to be filming. Let's move on. Let's move on. And for those that think that Stanberry's going to London, nope. Nope. Anyways, I say all that to say, have you liked the video yet? Have you subscribed to the channel? Have you subscribed to our podcast? Have you checked out Uncommon Goods? Have you gotten your ticket for our Los Angeles show on November 20th? Or our ticket for our London show December 8th? Or your ticket for our DC show on January 24th? Go get your tickets today. More information on that, Uncommon Goods, all Kempire merch. Everything's available in the description. Shout out to our Kings Guards. Show some love to our Kings Guards for holding us down in the live chat. And of course, shout out to our subscribers, those of you watching in the bushes. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. A view is a view. Add dollars is add dollars. Okay. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. I will see you all in the next one. I have to watch Love and Marriage Huntsville. Oh, look. Oh. See my excitement. Happy November. Bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio podcast. As always, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for everything Kempire Radio, head on over to KempireRadio.com.